Good morning, Bravehearts. Good afternoon and good evening, because guess what? We are Braveheart Nation, and we actually are all around the globe right now. We have hundreds of thousands of people that actually watch our shows, and I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. And just know this, that when we come together as a Braveheart Nation, we are stronger. And understand something, when we start looking at the whole world as being our family, and we get rid of all of these fables, all of these stories, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something, and you may not want to hear this, but everything you've ever learned is a lie. If you ever come to one of my whole life coach certification courses, just make sure that you're ready. I will prove that everything out there is a lie, and that no one has to have a dis-ease. Dis-ease. Understand something. You got to get this. If you don't want to get this, you don't have to. The medical system has been around for 125 years. Before then, they never even were here. All right? And when they started, they were called quacks. And now today, I'm a quack. Don't care. You can call me all the names that you want. The reality is that my work, my research, dates back tens of thousands of years. And understand something, it's non-toxic, it's not invasive, it does not go in and it does not harm anyone. And the reality is today is that people have been dumbed down by dumb beliefs, and by people that have come together, and not a big group of people, to strategize, okay? So you better realize, okay, realize, because there's real lies. And understand something. You know, we're going to be talking today, and every time I get on here, we're always talking to somebody that's hooked in right with the medical. They don't like the medical. They don't like what's going on, because guess what? They wouldn't be coming on and talking to me. My last name is Wolf, but that has nothing to do with the alphabet but here we go, okay? The reality is, okay, is that my last name is Wolf, but guess what? People like me in the health profession, we're always at the end. So after a person goes through the whole medical care, takes all their drugs, and then they become drug addicted, okay, and they get in worse condition, then they come to the natural health practitioner, and then guess what? Then we call on nature, and we call on source energy, because the person needs to understand that guess what? They need to heal themselves, okay? The person needs to heal themselves. Give me 1 second here. There's something going on wrong here with Instagram, so I'm going to try to help the Instagram people out here. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let's see if we get it working. Okay, I think we're good now. I had to reset it. So let me just say this, okay? People are not stupid. People make stupid decisions. Well, Daryl, you just called them stupid. No, I didn't. People are not stupid. From the moment we get here, we are programmed, okay, to be sold off by the pound. If people don't want to know this, they don't have to. But if they were to do any research at all and look into the Rothschilds, look into the Rockefellers, you'd look into why the medical system exists and why it's based on petroleum. Why the medical system exists, and every drug does not help a person to heal. There is no drugs that heal. There's drugs that make you not to feel. And we are emotional, light energy, electrical, magnetic beings. And the day that we numb ourselves out emotionally and physically is the day that our life is over. Now, people aren't going to like this either. But 99 out of 100 people are numbed out and dumbed down, okay? They eat what everybody eats. If I were to ask them, how's your diet? They would say, oh, my diet is great, because they're comparing it to the person that's eating as if every day is a buffet and they have no consciousness at all. So that person thinks that they're eating well enough. But let me tell you something. Here's the problem that we're having in this world today. And that is this. That people are going to natural health practitioners, okay? I did say natural health practitioners, and to the the medical system, I'm not going to talk about that, but they're going to they're going to natural health practitioners, and guess what? Those natural health practitioners are trying to give them a ladder, a 5-foot ladder for a 20-foot hole. I'm serious. Is there any logic? I mean, to climb that ladder 4 times, are you out of the hole? No, you're not out of the hole. You know, I have come to the point that if I'm coming from my heart and I'm talking the truth, it doesn't matter whether people like it or not. And understand, people don't like a lot of the things that I say because guess what? It doesn't match their belief systems. Not because it's true or false, but when it doesn't match somebody's belief systems and it's far away from them and it actually threatens their addictions, their subconscious will come on and try to slap me in the face or try to stop me or try to tell me. You know, people always question me like, who do you think you are? And I don't know. Who do you think you are? Do you even know who you are? Do you even know how to eat, drink, or think? Do you know that it's all called unconditional love? Do you know that the greatest stories, okay, that have been told for generations are lies? And I mean every one of them. You think when we take a look at things and we go back 100 years, now go back 1,000 years, or why don't you go back, okay, why don't you go back 2,000 years, 3,000 years, or bring these stories from 10,000 years ago, and tell me I'm going to believe in them. I'm not going to believe in anything except for myself and nature and source energy. I'm not going to believe in any story that you tell me. None. We are starting from scratch right here in the present moment. We are going to be looking at food that is grown by nature and that is actually grown by people that grew the food that had unconditional love for what they did. We are not going to talk about anything that's made by a corporation because a corporation stands for inflammation and we're an inflammation nation. And we're going to be talking to a beautiful lady here today, and I'm going to prove that I'm going to prove to you today that dementia, okay, all right, is pre-diabetes. Dementia is actually a sugar problem, and dementia is actually the calcification of the brain, and that's the real truth of it. And when you start bringing down the vibrational flow and the circulation, that's when you'll get the parasites, you'll get the fungus, you'll get the bad bacteria. But it's all about issues in the tissues. If the tissues, okay, were healthy, then you'll have no parasitical problem. The calcium won't have to go into the brain to try to put out the fire that's created from the sugar, that's created from the flour, that's created from all the drugs and the chemicals that are put into all the processed foods. I guarantee you, if I go into anybody's home that has any dis-ease, we will see emotional dysfunction in that home. We will also see physical dysfunction created by the emotional dysfunction and not making proper decisions on the food that we eat. And understand the water that we drink. Okay, I heard my friend here will be talking about that. I think I heard him say smart water, which is not smart at all. It's not smart at all, and I'm not calling him dumb. I'm trying to tell you that you can market people into poisoning themselves and their family. Let me tell you something right now. We're headed into a time right now, and it's going to be a big test for a lot of people. And please don't get this wrong, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck about it, but it's going to be a great adventure for me because I'm emotionally stable. I know that 1 and 1 are 2, not 11. And the reality is 99 out of 100 people are not prepared for what's going to be happening in the next 7 years. And understand something right now, everybody. You know what? It's all called unconditional love. It's called self-care. And if you can't get that, you're going to be in trouble. If you don't know how to connect to your breath, put a smile on your face, even when things aren't going your way, you're already in trouble. Okay? You know, so many people go, piss off, Daryl. I'm not going to smile. When I start my whole life coach certification course, the first day I tell everyone, I want a slight smile on your face. And I want you to hold that slight smile the whole course. And everybody, I say, by the end of the day, let's just have a game here. First of all, I just got the virtual finger by probably about 10 to 15% of the people in the course. And then by the end of the day, people say that, guess what? My face has never been so sore. And that's because they don't use their smile muscles. And a smile is going to protect you against everything on an emotional and physical level. So I'm just trying to set the stage here before I talk to Jeff. And Jeff, he's here. And Jeff is the son, and he is wanting to talk about his mother who has been diagnosed with dementia. And understand something too. And before we even talk, because we're going to talk about some things. And whether you want to believe this, on an emotional level, when people are made to feel guilty, when people feel that they can't and they don't want to keep remembering their past because they've been made to feel so guilty, they'll even cause dementia. Do you think I'm kidding? You think I'm kidding? You know, every dis-ease that we have created, whether it's on a conscious or subconscious level. And every disease that's created, when we become conscious, we can reverse. So I'm going to talk to Jeff, and then we're going to see if the family's actually going to opt into it. Because if Jeff lives with his father and lives with his mother, does the mother want to remember? Does the mother want to get well? And will the father change his diet enough? And will Jeff change his diet to the same diet and to the same lifestyle as the mother? Because if they don't, it won't last. And how do you do that? How do you change after 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years of being poisoned? We were created by what people call God Almighty, and I don't believe in the God that most people believe in. I believe in source energy that has never ever judged us and isn't out to get us. I don't know that other thing that people really believe in. That's just a scary way of living. But the reality is this: if you can connect to your breath and you can connect to that source energy, and you actually believe that you deserve to be let off the hook for everything you've ever done, and that you deserve to be healed, well, you're going to have it. If you look at your life on an emotional and physical level and you bring those two things together, you're going to have it. If you're not willing to take massive personal action in loving and caring for yourself, then it's going to be temporary, okay? And understand something. What kind of intelligence does human beings have? We're told to stay off the drugs that are on the street, and some of the drugs on the street are actually better than the drugs you get from your big pharma. And that's the God's truth. We already know that. And some of them are actually the same. So I think we're all a little bit confused here, just a teeny bit confused about what life really is. And I'm not trying to tell you that I'm the one and I've got the answer. I can tell you how I live my life. I can tell you how I feel. You know, I had to get to a point in my life, if I didn't want to be sick, if I didn't want to have migraines, if I didn't want to be sick to my stomach, that I had to learn one lesson. And that lesson is to unconditionally love myself and all my brothers and sisters around the world, no matter what they say or what they do. And that's it right there. You know, you have to get something to really together here, people. Well, you don't have to, actually. I had to. Everything is about dividing us. Everything is about dividing us. Through color, through religion, through what we believe, political groups. Oh, well, there's a shit show. The reality is I don't partake in any of this. You know, and I'll just use this. I made a post of this, and I posted it 2 days ago, because every week somebody calls me up and goes, Dr. Wolf, I know you were raised as a born-again Christian. Are you still a born Christian? Because we need to know before we come to your clinic. And I said, I belong to the religion that divides no one, okay, and ostracizes no one, and picks on no one, and goes to war with no one. That's what I am. So the reality is here, you know, you go ahead. As long as you decide to keep on picking sides, one side against the other, that is your dis-ease. You're not at ease. You took their program, which is you need to hate something. We need to blame something on something, don't we? Anyways, that's my little rant, okay? But I want to bring Jeff on because Jeff is a very caring son who wants better for his mother. Jeff, how you doing?
Great.
Okay, so Jeff, just you start. Tell me about your mother. How old is she?
She is 79. We believe this started 3 years ago. Not sure if it's related to the jab.
Okay, one second. We're going to take a little bit of information here. The jab gets way too much credit because I'll tell you, even if people got the jab, okay, you need to understand something. If they clean things up other places of their life, and you may not believe this, but I can tell you that if you go to PubMed, okay, which is a government website that only will publish they'll only publish certified studies. I will talk about things today if you want. How many did your mother get? 1, 2, or 3?
2.
2. Well, that's not cool, but okay. All right. So anyways, how what's your mother's height and what's her weight?
Let me see here.
It's okay. Take your time, my friend.
And this is from... She was what, 130?
130 pounds. And what's her height?
5'6".
5'6". Okay. All right. Okay. Well,
5'3".
what?
5'3".
Well, okay, and she's 130. Well, you do know that if she's 5'3", okay, that she's about 20 pounds overweight, right?
Correct.
Okay. So I do want you to understand. We're gonna go through everything really gently here, but that's not 20 pounds being overweight. That's 20 pounds of infection and inflammation. Now, if you take a look, most of that is around her tummy, right?
And in her back end.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Well, you got to understand something. That's because the weight isn't weight. It's infection, which creates inflammation, which creates water retention. And you need to understand something right here, my friend, okay? It's in her back end because she's pooping in her pelvis. So the reality is, I want you to be very honest about everything she's eating as well, because that's the only way I can help you. And it's not about picking on your mother. I will never judge your mother. I will never judge another human being in my life again. That is the key to keep me free. So understand that. We'll get to it. But your mother has bowel problems just as you do, just as your father does, just as 99 out of 100 people have bowel problems. You do know 99 out of 100 people have parasites. And none of them would have to do a parasite cleanse if they learned how to do a perfect day on an emotional and physical level. People that do parasite cleansing all the time, it just tells you that they don't know how to eat and they mistreat themselves because they've been actually trained that way. People are not dumb. People are not stupid. You know, we can only be what the beliefs are that run in our head. You do notice that everybody has a different personality, right?
Yes.
Okay, you have a different personality than your father and your mother, but you have similarities, and that's because you perceive things differently than they do. And understand something: your personality, mainly, even you don't realize this, was made up from when you were 0 to 7, right from the moment you entered the womb until 7. That's where your personality comes from. And that's why I tell everyone, you better go in there and you better go in and retrain your brain and get a new personality, because your personality creates all your illnesses on an emotional and physical level. That is scientifically proven. That was scientifically proven 10,000 years ago. So, you know, you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. Now, your mother, so we've got 20 pounds of infection and inflammation. And guess what? You said she was 79?
Correct.
So we know that her plumbing's not well, okay? We know that we should try to get the cork out and really clean her colon, because the large intestine, are you ready for this? Nobody gets dementia unless they have large intestine problems, and meaning that most of the good bacteria is bad bacteria, and it sends messages to the brain that are incorrect. Now, if a person is rotting out, okay, which I will tell you right now, and people will not like this, but about 90% of the population is rotting out in their core. If you go to a medical doctor, you can look like you're 9 to 12 months pregnant, and he will just say you need to lose weight. What the heck does that even mean? He's not even right. You need to change what you put in your mouth. You need to change what is in your mind, because your mind is a landmine. What you put in your mouth, remember, it's got a 30-foot journey, and by the time it gets down to the large intestine, it is rotting and putrefying. So I'm going to tell you right now, I do have nutraceuticals that will change your mother, even if she doesn't change her diet, but it will not be as effective. And if your mother comes off the nutraceuticals, okay, and sticks to that diet, she's going to fall back into rotting, because your mother's rotting out. If you were to smell her breath, you would smell that it smells like a manure pile. And I'm not putting your mother down, but everybody with dementia, go ahead, smell their breath. Smell their breath, okay? And the reason why is because hot air rises from the large intestine because it's just one big tube from your mouth to your rectum. And you know what? You don't get nobody has bad breath because of something they ate yesterday. It's something they ate weeks ago, months ago, years ago, rotting inside of them. And then what happens? The large intestine loses muscle tone. And guess what? If your mother does antibiotics like everybody has, and if she eats animal products that are not free range and organic, right from dairy to cheese to yogurt to milk to chicken to even farm fish, they're all full of antibiotics. Those antibiotics are going in and distorting the good bacteria, which are causing endotoxin. Endotoxin is actually poisonous to the brain, even though it's like down at the bottom and your brain's up here, but your large intestine is known as your second brain. So I want to get that out of the way and make that very clear. That needs to be talked about. So let's talk about your mother's diagnosis. Okay, tell me what you know medically, what's going on.
Medically, she's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Went to the doctors and questioned how they come to, well, let's see, then basically before I got involved, basically they were going to a neurologist.
A neurologist. Why the neurologist? Oh, because it's the brain, right?
Yep, they took a picture of her brain. They couldn't see anything on the MRI, so they sent her to the neurologist. And I did go to that. That's when I got involved. But I don't know. They were back and forth several times with MRIs and.
Well, let me tell you something. Until they find something, they're going to play hide and seek. Okay. So the reality is they have to justify everything, right? You know, I'm going to tell you something. People don't want to hear this, but it's very easy to turn around illnesses, and all of them. All you have to do is want to care for yourself and change what you do in your day. I'm telling you. Anyways, go ahead. What about the doctors?
So the neurologist sat us down maybe 15 minutes and said, I don't see anything. I cannot. You need to go to the next step, which was psychiatric. And basically over there, my brother went in instead of me. And basically they were back to the simple questions of banana, sunrise, chair. I'm like, I would have blew up because that is 2 years ago. This is why we're here, you know. I was expecting them. It was supposed to be a 4-hour deal. Hook her up to wires, you know, whatever. Ask her questions. See how the brain's firing. None of that happened. Okay. Basically, it was a pure joke. We left there, went back for follow-up. Basically, they said she has outbursts. So she blew up with them.
Okay, one second. Your mother is absolutely normal. She's going to have outbursts. Anybody's going to be frustrated when their brain isn't working properly or when they feel, okay, now, please, people, just know this. When I say this, you're going to get this, so please don't think I go around doing this. Your mother feels shitty. Your mother feels shitty because she is pooping in her pelvis. Her bowels rotting out, my friend. I will prove it if you're honest with me and you do things to the T about her diet. This is not about making her feel bad, making you feel bad, making your dad feel bad. This is about making people feel great and healing them. Okay?
So basically, they found out she was hard of hearing, which we knew, and we were in the she had her hearing aids already ordered. So they put that on, asked her the questions, you know, seemed like she was doing good, my brother said. And I said, yeah, what did they ask her? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't in the room. Well, I found out later it was, you know, the simple questions.
Can I say something? Everybody that's on here watching, all the thousands of people that watch this, you have an advocate with you, whether you come to see me or you come to see anybody else in the healthcare profession. You have an advocate beside that person who needs help. An advocate that's clear of mind and one that's not going to be yes ma'am, yes sir. One that's going to go question, question, question. You question authority. You question me. You question anyone that's involved in your health or your family's health. You need to understand, everyone, stop being so lazy up here, okay? And stop being so trusting. Why in the heck would we trust any system that's corrupt? Why do people keep on trusting? Like, I don't even want to mention the systems, but why do we keep trusting? Because guess what? We've never been taught to think for ourselves. 1 second, I'm coming right back to you, Jeff. You need to get this, everybody. When you get out of school, you don't know how to think, drink, or eat, okay? You don't know how to love or care for yourself, and you're looking for someone else to do it for you, someone to love you. You don't know how to start a business, so you don't know how to make money. You're crapping your pants, and you're just rolling the dice. My God, we're at school for 12 years, and we don't know how to feed ourselves, and we definitely get out of grade 12 or even get out of university. We still don't know how to feed another little spirit being coming into the world, but we know how to get our pants off, don't we? Okay, so understand something. The whole thing is corrupt, and I'm going to say Rockefeller, Rothschild. That's all I need to say, and you better get this, and you better put it into your head, and you better know something. Human beings are not the enemy, okay? But human beings can be sold off for a price because they come from poverty thinking, okay? Because everybody thinks they're going to starve, and I got to pay the bills, and I got to do what they say, and if I do what they say, then I'll get my pay. What a terrible way to live. And this is, Jeffrey, I know you want to get going with this, but this has got to do with your mother. It's all about people that even know that they're not telling the truth, but because they don't want to come up against the system, buddy. And that's the God's truth. Go ahead.
That system is bigger than what people know. We got Vanguard and BlackRock. They are the controllers of your food, of the way your food is created in the fields, what it's sprayed with. I mean, we're talking glyphosate, I believe, is one of the main causes of everybody's health problem.
Yeah, but also, Jeffrey, we need to be fair here. I want to tell you, the two-gun dad, it's called the two-gun dad. He wears a glyphosate pack on his back and he sprays his yard. More glyphosate is sprayed in backyards and front yards than even on our foods. So understand that, and then the children play in them. But let's get back to your mother, okay? So where are we at with your mother? How long?
So basically, they sent her. After that, he closed his book up and said, basically, my observation in the waiting room was there was young people coming in, getting their meds. I think he seen her as going into a home soon, and he didn't want to deal with her and sent her back to the neurologist. That's my whole take of that situation with the psychiatric. Basically, I asked him, what is the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's? And I could not believe he said, well, that's a great question. Well, I've never been asked that question.
Can I tell you? Is it okay if I try to give it a shot?
Yep.
Dementia is the baby brother of Alzheimer's. That's all. Do you know that eczema is the baby brother of psoriasis? The scabbing's just thicker. Guys, did you know that arthritis is the baby brother of rheumatoid arthritis? Okay. Did you know that chronic fatigue is the baby brother of fibromyalgia? Guys, they're all just symptoms. You need to understand something. There are no diseases. There's messages from the body saying, first of all, I'm going to give you a little message here. Might be a headache, might be a pain in your back, pain in your tummy. It might be some stiffness. It might be some swelling. It might be some redness, or it could be just some pain here and there. And guess what? You don't wake up to it because you don't know what to do with it. Oh yeah, you do. Everybody does. As soon as you have pain, what do? You tell the pain to shut up. So you go ahead and you tell the pain to shut up. And as long as you tell the pain to shut up, that pain is inflammation. That pain is causing calcium being pulled from the bones, because pain only comes when there's inflammation. When you have inflammation, your blood pH and your tissue pH is dropping and becomes acidic. If it becomes too acidic, okay, in the blood, you'll go into a coma or you will die. If it goes too acidic in your tissues, you will lead not just inflammation and calcification and scar tissue formation, you will have mutation. Where you have, okay, the blood, where the tissue pH is dropping, becoming more acidic, that's because the minerals are being eaten up and the oxygen is being eaten up. Okay, so your body says, oh my God, well, what are we going to do here? First, what it'll do probably, if you want to take your drugs or you want to ignore the pain because you have never been taught how to look after that beautiful body of yours, then what it's going to do is it's going to take on water, and that's where you get the puffy face, that's where you get the puffy body. You know, people are walking around and they're full of water. Okay, that's why you see, you see all the people out there, Jeff, and they have this thing sticking out because they have no cheekbones, they have no jawbones, they're just one big puffball. That's water retention, hoping that the person will wake up before they get cancer. Cancer is stage 4 inflammation. Okay, so we started off with pain and inflammation, just slight, and then it grew, and then it grew, and then it grew. And as the inflammation grows and grows and grows, what happens is, like any other fire, if the house was on fire in the house, I have to stay to the bottom because of the smoke, but also the oxygen is getting eat up. Do you understand that? So inflammation, inflame, eats up the oxygen. Your mother has a hearing problem because guess what? She has crystallized and got scar tissue and calcium built up around her ear. If I went and worked on her with non-surgical in here, in around the ear, and I did cell-sonic, okay, and we were to do like our ear soak with infinite iodine, and we were to use our ear clear, ear restore essential oil, we could bring her hearing back. But we couldn't bring her hearing back if it's totally calcified in here because, okay, we'd have to take something that's going to actually ionize and take that calcium and put it back into the bones. Remember something, if you check your mother out, she's got osteoporosis. Because that's not the main problem, but she has osteoporosis. And she has osteoporosis wherever, are you ready for this? Oh, you're going to love this. She has osteoporosis wherever she has a problem. So if your mother has dementia and headed on to Alzheimer's, we're going to find the jawbone, we're going to find the cheekbones, we're going to find the skull is got even osteoporosis in it because it's been pulling the calcium to try to bring down the fire of your mother's brain. Now, the other thing that will cause the inflammation in the brain is stress, right? Was your mother a super duper warrior?
She did worry a lot. So.
That's right. I got it. So guess what? The brain is not intelligent. The brain is like a chemistry lab because it dumps chemicals, and it dumps the chemicals depending on the frequency, depending on the emotion that you have. I want to explain this to you because things need to calm down in your family. Okay, everybody needs to take a breath. Okay, the brain is a hormone. Okay, chemical factory. Okay, and it's also a computer that stores belief systems. And far as I'm concerned, everybody, you better take a look at your belief systems because their belief systems, that's B and S belief systems, right? Well, most of you have BS belief systems because we all been programmed. And if you've never went to get your coconut crack from the inside out, like I do with my whole life coach certification, you're going to struggle all your life because you think it's your personality, but your personality is just made up of all the BS that you are programmed with between religion, between schools, between the government, between the medical, it never stops. And if you're not conscious of this, then, you'll live a life of unconscious, subconscious terrorism from yourself. Okay, so now let's get back to your mother. Here we go. So we're talking about calcification, and we're talking about scar tissue formation, okay, in the brain. Okay, you can get adhesions, lesions in the brain where you get adhesions in your abdomen, lesions in the brain, and all they mean is scar tissue. All right, now we talked about this. Dementia is just the baby brother of Alzheimer's. And a lot of people say, well, it's a fungal problem. Well, yes, when the circulation becomes bad in the brain, okay, the vibration comes down, then predators will come to any tissue that has an issue. So you'll have bad bacteria, you'll have parasites, and you'll have fungus. But that's not the issue. If we can get the tissue back up to its healthy state, then nothing bad will live in there. Everything is about the environment. We can chase after things like fungus or bad bacteria, okay, or parasites, but you can remove them, but they're only going to come back. You know, I could have a manure pile, and that manure pile is going to be full of fungus, bad bacteria, and worms. We could go in there and we could have it in the middle of this room, and we could put tape on all the doors and all the windows, and we could pick out all of that crap of fungus and all the parasite party out of that manure pile, and he'd be back the next morning. So the reality is how are you going to bring up her vibration? If you want to cleanse something, you know what? If I wanted to drain the bathtub, okay, to put new water in, I would what? Pull out the cork, wouldn't I? Well, the first thing you got to do is pull out the cork in your mother's colon, which means you've got to do a colon cleansing and a liver cleansing on her, so her blood's more pure and her colon's pure, so the bacteria, which I hope you know this, Jeff. Do you know what the smartest part of a human being is? Well, we know it's their spirit energy. But second to that, it's the bacteria in your large intestine, which medical system is continually attacking. And they're attacking us through the food, through the water, trying to kill the bacteria in our large intestine. You kill that, you kill the person. If you harm that, you harm the person and you create illnesses. That's it. It's called leaky gut. Your mother has leaky gut. Now she's got leaky brain. Do you get that? First leaky gut, then leaky brain. So now if we were to get her to do colon cleansing, liver cleansing, right, and we were to get her on a perfect day diet, we know we're going to win it. But you go ahead. You've got something to say, don't you?
Well, she also just recently had a hernia repair.
What did I just say? Guess what? She has an inguinal hernia, everyone. Let me tell you something. Dr. Wolf is not smart. Dr. Wolf is logical. Okay? I've been at this, and just so everybody knows, I was the president of the North American Institute for the Advancement of Colon Therapy when I was 28 years old. Okay? Put that. And now here's another one. I wrote a manual called the Colon Therapy Guide to Healing. And that manual was used in 1986 by the United States Senate for the study of colon cancer. So I want everybody to understand something. His mother, and I already told you that your mother was rotting out. Every dementia, Alzheimer's person might be 1 out of 100 that isn't, because I got to leave room for error. But the reality is your mother is rotting out. And what happens, everybody, is that his mother actually has a large intestine, okay? And what we have is the lining inside of it is called tight junctions. His mother's junctions, because of antibiotics and sugar and animal products that weren't chewed properly, because guess what? How many dead animals does it take to heal a person? Wow. Okay? You can't have a dead carcass rotting in you. So now what happens is these tight junctions in the large intestine, okay, they opened up. And now his mother has a screen door, okay, for protection in her large intestine. And now she's pooping in her pelvis. And you know, it's called the peritoneal lining, everyone. And her mother, from pooping in her pelvis and leaking this waste, it ate the lining out, and so now the intestines are popping out of her core because her core is on the floor. And I am right, and I want any medical doctor or any other practitioner out there, if you want to call me, my number is 469-861-8884. If you'd like to come on and challenge me on a show, I'm willing to talk, because I want the world to know that the world has been screwed over, okay? Screwed over. And guess what? Everybody deserves to be happy and healthy and wealthy. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's how she got the hiatal hernia. And she has low back pain, and she's going to talk about that. And she's probably complained about it, because whether you believe this or not, but the main operation done on the spine is L3, L4, L5. And the reality is from pooping in your pelvis. And the inflammation causes scar tissue formation. It pulls the calcium out of the vertebrae. And because of the inflammation, What you have is you have the discs, cartilage discs in between the vertebrae, and guess what? They don't leave. They become dehydrated from the inflammation, just like a piece of meat could be 1 inch, and then when you make it into beef jerky, it's only a quarter of an inch or even thinner. That's what's happening. We're becoming beef jerky. Old age is beef jerky, guys. Old age is infection caused from, inflammation caused from infection. And your mother also has calcium problems, I guarantee you. Guarantee you. Stiff as a board. Stiff as a board. And now her brain's becoming stiff, but leaky like her large intestine. And that's the deal. If you were to say to me, I'm going to tell you right now, I will tell you lightly, Jeff, about the things to do, but I don't want to go too deep into it here because we always get people coming on my platform that go, oh, see what he's doing? He's setting Jeff up, trying to take his money, right? Well, everybody that is like that can get off my platform right now, okay? Because that's not the deal. So, Jeff, we will lightly talk about things to take, and then you will call me and I'll go into it deeper because guess what? Everybody, they have no problem giving it to the medical system. But then let me tell you something, Jeff. If you were to go into my library, did you know that I have the biggest self-care, self-healing library in the world where people can take massive personal action? It's all in there and it's free. It's absolutely free. I've got master classes called like the emotional, Braveheart Emotional Intelligence. I used to charge $1,000. I give it away free. I have another thing a thing you should listen to for your mother, and it's called Reverse the Irreversible. It's a master class. Another one called How to Become Number One at the Art of Number Two. But there's a lot in there. You could be in there for a long time, and all of these are professional master classes. And guess what? I am so ready for anyone to challenge me. I have been so challenged throughout my life that I love it. Bring it on. And guess what, everybody? You better ask questions. You better ask questions. And you question me, you question authority. Why do you think I put this library together? Because I needed you to brainwash you into loving you, caring for you, and knowing what a healthy, perfect day lifestyle's like. Hey, if your mother were to do a perfect day and I put it together and she repeats that, guess what, Jeff? 6 weeks to 3 months, we'll come back on here and you'll blow everybody's mind. So you know that. Drugs don't heal, but they do help to shut the person up who's sick so that everybody else can get on with their life. Yes or no?
Yes.
All right. I'm not putting them down, guys. I've taken.
Alzheimer's, they switched to dementia. It's gone from Alzheimer's to dementia to delirium to Alzheimer's because I question the bacteria. Did they test for this? Did they test?
Yeah, but you've got to understand something, okay? Don't you know when your mother was healthy, she had healthy tissue, she had healthy organs. Do you get healthy? Okay, let me ask you a question. And I'm not putting the medical system down because they have a place. But here's the deal. When your mother was healthy, what did that mean? It meant that her circulation was good. And when somebody has perfect circulation, and you can have perfect circulation at any age, I'm telling you, I have two devices. One called a Cellsonic. It gives out 25,000 volts in a love harmonic. It'll shut down stage 4 inflammation in just a pulse. I'm not making this up. But the person needs to incorporate a healthy day. I have another device that's called a cardio med bed. We can take people that have a 92, 93% blockage. You know, that's a blockage that could kill. And guess what? After 37 hours of being on my cardio med bed, they'll have a brand new set of arteries. Did you get that? So understand something. Unless you've got perfect circulation, you've got a dis-ease. Because everywhere where there's a disease, the circulation is down, there's calcification, there's scar tissue formation, and I don't care what you're talking about. You can talk about sinusitis, you can talk about dementia, you can talk about toe fungus. I don't really care what the situation is. It's always the same story. So, hey, listen to me. Every disease is only a symptom. And 95% of almost all diseases are healed by the same program. But what medicine has done it said there's a drug for every symptom. And soon as a new symptom comes, they give you a new drug. And understand this, it is never going to stop, because it's not about big pharma's bad. It's about there's an entity on this planet that lives on the pain and suffering from the minute you get here until you leave. And they think that they are that they're in charge of this planet, and they have the God-given right to make sure that they can do whatever the hell they want. And I mean whatever the hell they want. They poison the water, they poison the air, and all people mainly do is complain about it. I heard you say smart water, and smart water is distilled water. And that distilled water is not it's gonna harm your mother. It's gonna harm her, because your mother is dehydrated. Her brain is actually shrinking up like a piece of beef jerky with holes in it, okay?
She's on well water.
Well, she needs to structure it. Honey, would you grab me the structure unit? You got to structure the water. I'll give you 90 days, Jeff. And guess what? We have Black Friday sale. It's our biggest sale of the year. I mean, you've got 90 days. And if your mother doesn't tell me that she feels better, okay? All right? Somebody's asking, how do I get a med bed? Please go to B as in Bob. Well, no, B as in Brave. B as in Brave, H as in Heart, N as in Nation. That's BHN. Go to bhnpowerpack.com and you go in and look up what a Cellsonic is. Every energy medicine device can't even hold a candle to this on the planet. 25,000 volts put into a love harmonic. It will actually fracture the displaced calcium that's in anywhere in the body, and it helps to get it back into the bone. Okay, it shuts down inflammation. It brings back the electrical charge to beef jerky scar tissue, and it brings back the proper healing vibration to diseased tissue. It's all there. The science is there. And if you go, you'll see the cardio med bed. This is where we put cuffs on your lower leg, upper leg, and your pelvis. And in between your heartbeat, these cuffs will come together, and it will push 60% of your blood supply up to your body, and then and then when your heart beats, it relaxes. And we will do that for up to an hour, okay? And the reality is, what we're doing is, between our nutraceuticals, which we're gonna go through, Jeff, and between the actual, the diet of eating and clapping and ultimate coffee enema, your mother can only do what she can do, but understand, with the products that I have, even if she did nothing, we would see great results. But the reality, if she wants to have it all back, if she wants to come back, that's the deal. Because Jeff, I'm going to tell you something. If your mother has given up on life, okay, she doesn't want to die, but guess what? She doesn't have the energy, she doesn't have the motivation to want to come back. It doesn't matter what you do. So she's got to want it. What's her reason for wanting to live? Have you ever asked her that? Mom, do you want to live? Do you want to travel? What is it you want to do? Because understand, I will never retire, Jeff, okay? I'm 67 and I'm just getting started, buddy. And understand something, everybody needs to be on a mission to find their passion, to find their purpose, and your mother needs to go back and do that. And then she needs to feel like she's helping herself and the world. That's how you get your mother back. And okay, that's how you get her back. Go ahead. Oh, here's a structure unit, everyone. Okay, this one here, they don't look exactly like this, but this is our structure unit. You can put everything through. If you put alcohol through this, you won't have a hangover and you will not be damaged by the poisons in alcohol. And alcohol is good for no one. And there's no such thing as having a drink a day of alcohol and it's good for you. That's BS. And whoever said that is a liar. Okay, that's not even true. But people use that. Okay, all right? Okay, now.
Does that create like a snowflake-looking molecule instead of, being around? Is that what that device does?
Oh, well, it doesn't just do that. You're right about that, but guess what it does do? This is the most important thing. So let's just understand something. Rainwater, fast-moving rivers, waterfalls create structured water. Okay? I mean it. Now, I will, if it's not right in the middle of the city, I will drink that water, no problem. But Lori and I, we're right now in Orlando, okay? and you know that they got crap in the water, and then you're going to go, well, he's kind of a dumbass. Well, guess what? We drink from taps all over the world. We do not have a filter in this. Now, when we go home, we will have filtered water, but I know the science about this. You know, people go, real science. Well, the real science is that a structured water unit, you can put it under any tap anywhere. You know, I'll tell you something. Guess what? Smart water is not smart. It's distilled water in a plastic bottle, okay? And it's got chemicals in it, all right? It's crap. Your mother can't digest distilled water, and I'm going to explain why. When you put any liquid through the structure unit, when you do that, you structure it. Okay, now when it structures, understand something. 1 drop of water or liquid, doesn't matter what you put through. Every drop has 2,500 to 3,000 layers. That's what a droplet's made out of, 2,500 to 3,000 layers. Now, what happens is here, when you put that through a structure unit, everybody that drank the water, it erases. Because a lot of people, when they drink water, they're not in a good mood or they're sick. So they've got vibration of illness in there. Now, the reality is this. You go ahead and you distill your water. Guess what? You still have the vibration of the drugs, the chemicals, and the people that drank it in it. And when you distill it, your body doesn't have enough energy to actually take distilled water and structure it to get it into the cells. And that's what we need to do. When I run this stuff through this structured water, what happens is I've created a vibration, a frequency, okay? Just like, okay, in the ozone layer, atmosphere, that's where we get structured water. Let me ask you a question here, Jeff. Why is it that we've got Billy spraying up there in the skies? We already had acid rain there. And when the water comes down, it doesn't harm the birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees, or the microorganisms. And the crops are growing just as good as 500 years ago because it's structured and we've been protected by God Almighty. So when I run my water through my structure unit, it structures it. And even if there's heavy metals or there's bacteria in it, it doesn't touch me. It comes in and it leaves. And people can't handle that. Oh, that's bull. That's bull. I don't believe that one. So when the water comes in that's been structured, or any type of drink comes in, even alcohol, okay? When it comes in, okay, what happens is when it gets into the body, there's a frequency in the water droplet. And here's what happens. 2,500 to 3,000 layers will actually stretch out because of the frequency and slide right into the cell without energy. So the energy that you save by structuring your water, people say to me, well, I drink alkaline water. And I go, yeah, but alkaline water has nothing to do with health. It is such a small part of it. It's a small part of it. I don't care if you drink alkaline water. If you don't get it into your cells, because structured water is going to carry all your nutrition in, oh my God, 1,000% better. And then it's going to load itself up and it's going to bring the waste out. And that's the truth. I mean, you know, you've got 90 days. Who gives a 90-day back on a water system? Okay, and we have it, water systems for the house, for schools. We have it for pools. You know, once you shower in, you guys have a water softener, I think you do. You put a structure unit on there, and guess what? Now you've got soft water. Okay, instead of using water softener that has all that sodium in it. Okay, so not so cool. So the reality is here, you can take a shower in the middle of a city where they've got chloride and fluoride, and guess what? When you do that, you are actually in a gas chamber and you're breathing that in. When that water goes through a structure unit, though it doesn't filter out, I guarantee you, your skin feels better, you can breathe better, there's no itchiness, there's no burning of the eyes, your hair is soft, okay, and you're absorbing. How many people out there know that when you take one shower, you've taken in 10 to 20 glasses, as if you drank it, of chlorine and fluoride, as if you drank 10 to 20 glasses, because depending on the heat and the concentration that they think they need to put in to purify it, okay, that's how much you're going to absorb. So a lot of people are going, I'm going to buy bottled water. What a bunch of, you see people at Costco and they got those plastic bottles. Well, those plastic bottles are made out of petroleum. And guess what? Whenever you drink a plastic bottle of water and you can taste the plastic, you just took concentrated carcinogens into your body. And every bottle of water usually ranges around 80 to 120 different chemicals in it. Okay, so people that buy smart water have not educated themselves. They're just wasting their money. You know, these psychos are sitting back and laughing at us and sitting there, and they're living off our pain, Jeff. That's the bottom line. Okay.
Now, while she was in the hospital this last trip, I happened to just look at some of the products they had there. They had aluminum deodorant. They had white petroleum.
Okay, one second. Jeff, I get it all, but you know what? I gotta tell you honestly, man. You already know it's not a healthy place to be. So let's focus now on what we can do for your mother. Okay? It's not.
Do you think EMF and RF play in part of this with smart meters? Because they have readers out in the country here that basically...
Okay, let me ask you a question. No, let's, Jeff, unless you're willing to move, we can't really talk about that. I will tell you what you can do, okay? I will tell you what you can do. First of all, do you have Wi-Fi in your house?
Yes.
Does that Wi-Fi get turned off at night?
Nope.
Well, there you go, Jeffrey. So you just know that all these towers do not mean crap, okay? That you leaving the Wi-Fi on, okay, it needs to be on a timer. That's it. The Wi-Fi needs to be on a timer, okay? All right?
That is.
The Wi-Fi needs to be on a timer. And guess what? If your mother doesn't get 8 hours to 9 hours of no Wi-Fi, you are radioactively charging up and making her brain worse. So, okay, so I'm going to tell you something. All right? There needs to be a timer put on, okay? Or just walk over to the Wi-Fi box and unplug it before you go to bed. But most people get lazy. Don't get lazy, and people are lazy, and today that's called stupid. So what you've got is all night long, none of you go into a REM sleep. You cannot go into a REM sleep and have Wi-Fi on in your house. You'll never have a peaceful sleep. You'll say, oh, I had a better sleep last night. I had a better sleep last night than I usually do, okay? But guess what? You still don't even know what a good sleep. People don't know what a nature sleep is anymore. So understand, wherever I travel, I will even in the Airbnbs, because I've got another 8 months, okay? When I go to, because I live in United States and I live in Mexico. Now, when I go back to Mexico, okay, I'll be going to where I live. But when I travel, I've got 8 months. I'm traveling all over the world, lecturing and doing courses. We're not gonna go to an Airbnb that we cannot unplug the Wi-Fi at night. It's not happening. And I'm not gonna stay in a huge complex that's gonna just blow my brain, where you can go on and then you can see like 20, 30 Wi-Fis on there. No one, I mean, you cannot do this. You cannot. We don't even, and your mother doesn't have outbursts. She's got too much frequencies coming into her from her eating, from her drinking, and from the invisible, the Wi-Fi and everything else. So just understand, let's talk about the things that we can control, because we cannot control other things unless you're willing to move, okay, and go live in a jungle, then fine. Okay, so let's get the Wi-Fi turned off. Also, do the phones get turned off at night, and are there any phones in her bedroom?
No phones in her bedroom.
Well, all phones should be on airplane mode in that house. And the Wi-Fi needs to be turned off. And do you guys use a microwave?
Very seldom.
The microwave goes in the garbage. Let me tell you something. Take the time to heat it up. When you microwave that food, okay, first of all, why don't you do me a favor, Jeff, when we're done here? I want you to put a phone into the microwave, and then I want you to shut the door. And then what I want you to do is I want you to walk 30 feet away. And then if you call the phone and it rings, that means that you're being microwaved by 30 feet away. Okay?
I just told him about that yesterday.
Okay. Now now what I want to do is let's talk about basics. First of all, I'll go through the supplementation that I would suggest that your mother goes on at the end here. But what I want to do right now is I want you to be as honest as possible, okay? Because you're not being judged, dude. So when she gets up in the morning, what's the first thing she does?
Gets dressed.
Gets dressed and gets dressed and gets dressed. That's another thing. She will try to even put tops on as bottoms. I mean, she really does care what she looks like. And that's mainly, she's always looking in the mirror and, doing things like that. And
Listen to me.
We got to go, and she gets dressed and we're out the door.
That's fine. We can deal with that. I need you to do me a favor. We need to build a loving place for her. I need you to put on every mirror that she looks in the house, okay? Hello, beautiful, I love you. And I mean it. When we're done here, I need you to put right at just 1 sec. I need you to put, hello, beautiful, I love you. You need to do this. Okay? Trust me on this. What music does your mother like? Or used to like? Country. Then you are going to play uplifting country music. So I need you to pick it. No divorce became final today. None of that crap. You need to play uplifting, fun, humorous country music, and I want it going all day long. Why, Jeffrey?
Vibration.
Yes, because I want her to actually hear something at a time when she was happier. So I need you to do that. Now,
memories.
I need to do, I don't need to know anything else. I need to know what she eats and drinks, and you've got to tell me what the worst day is. Not the best day, Jeffrey, because everybody wants to tell the best day because they don't want to get in trouble with Dr. Wolf, and you can never get in trouble with me. You could tell me to go and piss off if you wanted, and I would say, well, let me know why, and then if you want, then I would probably leave, but I wouldn't do what you said. Okay. So the reality is I need you to be as honest as possible with her diet, on a bad day diet, because the bad day diet happens more than the good one. Right, Jeffrey?
Correct.
Oh, thank you. So
has 2 eggs in the morning, or French toast.
1 second, we need to stop right now. So I need to tell you something. Is your father willing to change his diet?
He's sitting right here. You ask him.
What?
Maybe.
You have to be.
Okay, do you love your wife?
Yes.
Do you love your wife more than eating French toast and cooking eggs in the morning? Or do you love your diet more?
We don't cook at home.
Well, what's French toast?
What's French toast?
How do you make it?
Bread dipped in eggs.
Then you cook it. Just know. Okay, can I say something, Jeffrey? Just so, say this to them. They go out to eat all the time?
All the time.
Oh, well then, okay. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. We're going to go through the diet anyways in case he decides he wants to do it, okay? But the reality is, sir, the more you cook, the worse you look. The more you fry, the sooner you die, okay? That's kind of a little harsh, but that's the reality. So if you want to eat, first of all, your wife cannot go near flour products that are refined carbohydrates. That is feeding her problem, okay? You need to get that. You cannot do that. The French toast, okay? And then you're going out to eat, which means that you're putting corn syrup, which causes dementia, on her French toast. Did you get that?
Yep. Fructose, sucrose, fructose.
It's okay. It's mainly corn syrup, though, Jeff.
Yep.
It's corn syrup.
I created with 7 enzymes, so sugar is not sugar.
That's right, sir. Okay, so anyways, I'm going to tell you what she needs to do. In the morning, she needs to why wouldn't you get up in the morning and make a nice bowl of fresh fruit?
She'll eat some fruit, but not a lot.
Okay. Well, it's all because of conditioning. You know that, right, Jeffrey? Everything is conditioning. Well,
she says, I don't like it, and she will not touch it.
Okay.
Broccoli.
Okay. Let me do this. Okay. We're not going to talk about the diet because I don't want to make them feel bad. I want them to do whatever they need to do. So the reality is this. It's called breakfast, which means break fast. If we were able to go longer in the morning without the food and hydrating with structured water with Ormus minerals in it and a little bit of black diamond, okay? Because in the morning, that you have to understand something, okay? It's really important, okay? So we have 3 different times of the day, from 12 noon, okay, until 8 o'clock. Like you never, ever, ever, ever eat after 8 o'clock. And if you do, you want to make sure that you're only eating fruit, okay? Or something that doesn't take any energy to digest, because there is a human clock going on, okay? So we have digestion from 12 until 8. From 8 o'clock until, we have, 1 second. So from 12 until 8, that's when we feast. That's when we nourish. And then from 8 o'clock, okay, until 4 o'clock in the morning, that is when we digest our foods and assimilate it into our body. And then from 4 o'clock in the morning, okay, until noon, that's when we eliminate. And if you want to eliminate and detoxify, then you're going to eat lighter. Let me tell you something right now. I don't eat anything until probably usually, now this is like 90% of my life. We don't eat anything, do we, honey? Until 1 o'clock maybe. Yep. 1 o'clock. Now, I've got in here, I've got black diamond, structured water, and Ormus minerals. Okay, and the water tastes great, and it's warm to hot. And guess what? I eliminate, I detoxify. You know, I feel amazing. I will not put cooked food into my body anytime before 11 o'clock. Now, sometimes what I'll do is at 11 o'clock, I'm just going through my day, because if they want to take on any of this, it's going to make her feel better. By 11 o'clock, guess what but just so you know, everyone, I will drink, okay, 2 of these before I eat anything. This is 1.5 quarts. I've already done 3 quarts of water, structured water. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I just love this part. Try not to drink too much water, because I heard somebody drown before. Try not to drink too much water because it's hard on your kidneys. It's the exact opposite. Try not to drink too much water because it'll dilute the nutrients and wash them out of your body. What kind of morons are out there teaching stuff? Seriously. And then people, they trust. I already told you, don't trust me. Don't trust anybody in the health profession today. Let me tell you this. You know, I'm going to tell you, and I told you already, 99% of the people that are in the natural health field don't know what a perfect day is. Or can you believe it? This is Sunday, and this is my phone ringing, and these are all patients, everyone. So when I say to you that when you call me, I will answer your questions, I will do it, okay? We're here to serve you if you're willing to serve yourself, some self-care and self-love. Okay, so anyways, I will start off with a blender drink of strawberries, but only 1 fruit. And it's berries. Berries are the highest in antioxidants. Okay, and I will start off with 1. You could do blueberries, blackberries, you could do strawberries. I love strawberries, and I love the blueberries. That's what I mainly go to. And and guess what I'll put in there? I'll put in 1 raw egg, or even 2 raw eggs, depending on how I feel. Then I'll put in some oat milk. Okay, then I'll put in some black gold. And black gold is what restores the good bacteria in your large intestine and cleans from your mouth to your rectum of heavy metals and parasites. And it also drops off 60, 70 micronutrients into your cells. But when it gets to your large intestine, it actually creates an inner terrain that mummy's bacteria comes back, because mummy's bacteria is the only bacteria that is going to heal you. I'm serious. You can take all the other bacteria you want, but they're not going to stay there. They'll help to support, but nothing supports better than black gold, I'm telling you. And black gold is the purest humic fulvic in the world. We use no chemicals, the only company in the world that doesn't use chemicals to process their humic fulvic. So now you've got your mother drinking a blender drink, and if you put the raw egg in, Jeffrey, it's going to be thick and have the consistency of a milkshake. And don't tell me that she doesn't like milkshakes. Everybody likes milkshakes. And if you want, you can add what's called Amino Boost, which is organic Dutch chocolate with all the aminos in it that will make it taste chocolatey strawberry. And guess what? That is way better than French toast. Way better than 2 cooked eggs, because your mother cannot digest eggs. You need to get that. And neither can your father. They both cannot digest cooked eggs anymore. And they can say, yes, we can. Well, then guess what? I need you to go into the bathroom with them every morning when they go to the bathroom and smell what comes out and see how hard it is to come out. Okay? So understand this. 1 and 1 or 2, not 11. Then your mother should be doing a nice leafy green salad, rainbow salad with different veggies in it. And she can buy some organic dressing. And then she should have that. But if she doesn't want to do that, then make her something like organic brown rice or millet or some ancient grain. And then you could put, if you want, you can put some ghee on it or some organic butter on it. And then maybe some real salt or Himalayan salt. Maybe even some Bragg aminos to give it more flavor. But this is what's going to heal her. And then what you can do is, if you want to get her some wild salmon or fish, that's great. But even I'm not a big fish eater because the ocean's polluted. But never get her farm fish because it's full of worms and pus. You could squeeze it and the pus would come out. All right? And it's full of antibiotics, which she really doesn't need. Okay, so the reality is if you were to be on top of this, which is, I'm telling you 3 months, Jeffrey, and 6 weeks to 3 months, if you actually do what I ask you, I will be accountable for it. But you have to do it. So that's the only way to get it back. And then, has your mother given up on loving and caring for herself? And she's just like, I've had enough of this place, and she just wants dementia because she wants to shut down because of things, and maybe your father hasn't loved her the way she believes, or maybe she's, who knows? You know, you never can forget about the emotional, and I'm not going to get personal here, but I'm just trying to tell you, everybody needs to wake up. We are emotional spirit beings. And if you think that, okay, just so you know, men usually get hard of hearing because they won't listen to their wives. They won't open up, okay? And then women get dementia or Alzheimer's because they just want to forget they're in the relationship. And I'm not telling you that this is about your father, but I've been in this long enough and I've seen it. It's a program. It's a program, my friend. And I'm telling you, and it's going to stay a program because we are programmed. We are programmed by religion, and we're programmed by the government. We're programmed by the schooling. We're programmed by the commercials. We're programmed by the TV. And we're programmed by our family and our friends and our neighbors. Okay? So understand that. So this is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure if you're awake. And that's about it. So your mother should be snacking on fruit. You know, she's not going to be good with seeds and nuts. She won't chew them enough. Okay? So everything that you give her has to be pre-digestible. It can't be dead animals. Dead animals, she's not going to chew it well enough. You know that. You know that. She'll take it down in chunks. And you have to take your food down in a smaller particle, or it's got to be live food like fruits or veggies. You know, you could put black beans on her salad. You could make black bean soup for her. That would be amazing, because black beans are amazing for creating the good bacteria back into your large intestine, and it's going to give her protein. You could make her lentil soup, but vegetable soup is not cool because all the nutrients are cooked out of it and she needs the fiber. So that's that. Now, I've got to take off here in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm going to tell you all the products. I want you to go and take a look at them and do your homework. And then we and you are going to come back on here if you want to talk about this. Okay? Okay. So anyways, I've got to leave in 10 minutes, eh, honey? Yeah. Jim Gale is having Path to Freedom, and he's got some very important people coming from all over the world. If anybody wants to get on and watch this, you would go to Galt's, Galts, landing.farm, and you can find out how to participate, or you can come to Galt's Landing in St. Cloud, okay? And that's where I'm headed. It's 45 minutes from Orlando, okay? So we came to Orlando to do a professional training for some medical people on how to actually take fibroids apart with Wolf Non-Surgical, and by using a product that we have called calcium ion therapy. So while we were here, we're going there because I'm speaking today for about 15 minutes. There's a whole bunch of speakers there today. So now, here we go. Do your homework, Jeffrey. Make sure, try to see if you can go How to Become Number One at the Art of Number Two in my library. Go watch Reverse the Irreversible in my library. It's all free. These are all master classes, videos. Just sit back, kick back, relax, okay? And what I also want you to do is go in there and watch Your Digestive Tract, The Highway to Life, and one more. The Holy Grail, Your Large Intestine, okay? You go in and watch those, and then you're going to understand what happened to your mother. I'm telling you, you will. Now, the next thing is, if it was my number, what was your number? My number, just know this. If you're going to call me, okay, just know that I'm not disrespecting you. If you're going to call me today, my phone number is 469-861-8884, everyone. And if you call me, just leave a message. I'll call you back. I'm going to be traveling there for 45 minutes, so I'll be answering phone calls. Okay, in about 20 minutes, I'll be in the car. And then I'll be leaving there today, and then I'll be calling back people. And then tomorrow, I'll be calling people as I can get to them. And I will call you, and if I call you back, then I'll want you to call me back, okay? So we'll just play a little bit of pinball, okay? But we'll get there, right? Now, here we go, Jeffrey. If this was my mother. And also, how much is your father willing to participate in his wife's healing? I need honesty.
Are you willing to give up 3 months to do what
I
he
guess
says?
we'll try it.
Okay, when a person says, I'll try, that means they're not going to do it, or he'll do it for a day. When a person says, I'll do it, she's my girl. So understand, I'm not going to get involved in the dynamics of this, but understand, anybody that says try, they're never going to do it. Okay, thank you. Let's move on. They're never going to do it until they change their wording. Okay? All right? And I'm not blaming him. He probably feels tired and exhausted over this. But if he were to get on the nutrients that I'm going to put her on, he'd get his energy back fast. Now, does he want to come back? Does he feel like he's got something to live for? I'm going to tell you something right now. Has he already given up? Except he doesn't have the dementia. So understand this. You can call me Dr. Wolf the prick, or you can call me Dr. Wolf the detective. All right, let's keep going. All right, so now, so your mother needs to look at getting on daily cleansing tea. You can go back and watch this. This is on Facebook. Daily cleansing tea and black gold. She needs to put black diamond and enormous minerals in her drinking water. Black diamond crosses the blood-brain barrier, Jeffrey. It goes in and gets rid of parasites in the brain, drops off 80 micro minerals, and guess what? It also picks up heavy metals in the brain. Well, it goes throughout the body, but it crosses the blood-brain barrier and it drops off all these nutrients, the black diamond. The Ormus minerals are the highest electrolyte drink in the world. Oh, and I just want somebody to challenge me. My electrolytes come from the melting of the glaciers in Antarctic. That's right. And then what we do is we concentrate those down, and then we go through almost a whole month process called Ormus. And Ormus brings back the emotional, etherical energy to the human. And then these minerals They go into the cells, they go into the body. And I'll tell you how much I would want your mother to be drinking this all day long in her stuff. And trust me, it makes everything taste better, these two things. The daily cleansing tea, she'll take it, and guess what? Wait till you smell, and I mean no offense by this, wait till you smell the rot that comes out of your mother's large intestine that's been putrefying her. Okay? So now we've got that done. The other thing that I would want to see your mother do, it's very important. There's two products. One is called Merigen and the other one is called Alzagen. Now these products are more expensive, but I told you we're looking at 3 months to 6 months. And as we're going to go in and front end load to decalcify her brain. Did you know that nobody would ever have dementia or Alzheimer's if they were still making the right amount of calcium ions? And did you know that I'm right? And I can scientifically prove it. If you go to docofdetoxlibrary.com to watch all these masterclasses, and then click on Calcium Ion Therapy Guide and watch Alzheimer's with the Alzagen and watch Merigen. Okay, watch those. Look at the science. There is a video at the very beginning of the Calcium Ion Therapy Guide. And just so you know, Jeffrey, you'll be able to relate to this. I got to keep moving here. But this product, guess what? It's totally pure. For 100 years, scientists said this couldn't be done, and 12 years ago, it was invented. It's the only calcium therapy that works, that'll actually pull calcium back into the bones and actually restore the electrical system all the way down to the mitochondria, decalcifying the mitochondria and bringing it back to 2,500 spins per second. And your mother only has in her brain right now only about 200 to 300 spins. That's why there's no energy to actually help the brain function, because it's calcified. And that's real science. So now take a look at those. Take a look at those products for me, okay? We will start with there. And that's not a lot. That's not a lot, my friend. It's not. And we might also put her on the Perfect Day Multi to make sure she gets all her nutrition, because I don't think you guys are actually going to do the Perfect Day like I'd like it. But it doesn't matter. I want you to know we have people going on this very protocol that I'm telling you to do with your mother. And, oh, there is one other one. My apologies. And it's called C60. It's called MCTOL C60. And what I was telling you earlier is MCTOL C60 will pull the graphene out from a vaccine patient. Just like the humic and the black diamond will do the same thing, and our curcumin cayenne. Those are the 4 pillars of getting rid of the graphene with a patient that has had the B. And you will notice a difference in those patients just within days by doing this. Yeah, this has all been researched by science. And you can totally detox from the bee. So now, where are we here? That's about it. That's about it. Yep, you got it, my friend. Very good. Now, those are the products we'd start with. I can give you the dosages. You go do your homework. You call me back, and then we'll come back together. And I hope that this has been good for you. I don't know what else to say.
Okay, I appreciate it. We all appreciate what you do.
Yeah, but now you've got to have a meeting. And understand something. If you don't do this, it won't work. And here's the deal. Everybody in this family does what we call contract for heroes. That means you're going to sit down and you're going to do a contract and what you're going to live up to help mom, to help wife. It's called a contract for heroes. The contract is read by you before you go to bed and before you wake up. Teamwork makes the dream work. God bless everybody. And understand, if you decide you want to do this right now, and this is not a pitch, Jeffrey, my biggest sale of the year, Black Friday, just started yesterday. So this is the biggest discounts you're going to get. So let me know if you want to move forward. And if you don't want to buy product and you've got questions, do not talk about the product, because we're not here to do that. If it's just you've got questions, I will answer them. If you guys decide to move forward and not want to do that, I'm still here for you. That's the end of this story, okay? And
How
yes,
do I get her off of Zyprexa?
now let me tell you something. You're not going to get her off these things unless you're going to bring up her vibration, bring up her energy. I'm not going to talk about this stuff. She's not going to be able to come off of it when she has a life that has no frequency and no light in it hardly.
Okay. So we just...
You know that. You know that.
2 days.
What?
She's only started that 2 days ago.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm not...
Clean of everything. No FSRI, no statin. And when she went to the hospital, I don't know, they started her on that, switched her to something else.
Listen, Jeffrey, listen. I'm going to tell you something, and I've made this promise to myself. I'm not going to jump into the devil's pit, okay? All right? The reality is this. My job is to help bring up your mother's vibration and frequency that she doesn't need these. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not, because then I become controversial. And I will not go to war. So here's the deal. Go in and do your research, okay? Do your research into the library and go to store.docofdetox.com. Put into the what the product is we talked about. Go do some research. Come back to me and challenge me, okay? Some people are asking here. Yes, my world tour starts January the 8th. It's in Ixtapa, Mexico. It's going to be at the 4 Diamond Resort, Cala del Mar. And you don't have to stay there. We do have a discount there, but it's still going to be like $300 a night. You can stay at places in Ixtapa for $45 a night even. Okay? And there's lots of places to eat. And we're going to be doing the Whole Life Coach starting January the 8th. That's with me, and that's where we crack the coconut from the inside out. We have people that have come from all over the world taking my Whole Life Coach program that say they're Whole Life Coaches, and then they get a wake-up call. If you want to learn how to become the healer for your family, or if you want to get into business, being a Whole Life Coach emotionally, nutritionally, or physically, this is what I teach in that course, and you will be certified by the World Organization of Natural Medicine and a couple of other organizations. Now, after that, there's a day off, and then it starts Wolf Non-Surgical, which is the most powerful body work. We have thousands of practitioners all over the world. If you want to go and see one and experience Wolf Non-Surgical, and we give a money-back guarantee that in the first treatment, we'll outshoot everyone else. Because it's all about scar tissue. It's all about calcification. How about somebody, you know what, get rid of that cane, get rid of that walker, get rid of that limp. And understand, old age is a scar tissue problem, everyone. That's all it is. That's all it is. Do I act 67? No. My world is a heaven. Let me tell you something. Now, after that course is over, it's 12 days. Then we will be starting with Braveheart Healing Circle. That's for people that want to dip their toe in and find your authentic self and see if they can actually love and care for themselves. Because if they don't, you're toast. You are toast. The dis-ease is you're not at ease because you have BS programs going on, and we want to get the chokehold off of you. We want you off the hook. So that is only 4 days and then a day off, and then it's only for women, women's pelvic restoration and disease prevention. That's a 3-day course on how to restore the vaginal canal, the whole pelvic girdle, and how to look after all the feminine things of a woman. Go to braveheartnation.com for more information, or BHN University. From Ixtapa, we go to Australia, where we teach the Wolf Non-Surgical course in February, okay? And then from Australia, we go to Barrie, Ontario, Canada. And then from Barrie, Ontario, Canada, we go to California. From California, okay, we're also going to then Bonita, Florida, to teach the course. And then we're going back to Kelowna, British Columbia, and then we're going to England, to a beautiful resort outside of England. And that'll be our first time ever teaching there. And then we're from England, where are we going, Daryl? We're going back to Ixtapa. So then we'll be in Ixtapa, Mexico, and we'll be doing another course there. Well, just check this out, everyone. And it is our Black Friday sale. And I just want to tell you, Jeffrey, thank you. You're a good son. You're a great son. You know, you're trying to help your family out. And while you're helping your family out, Jeffrey, just take this in and take it to heart, my friend, you better be changing yourself. Take a look at your parents, and this is where you're going. And people don't think so. And everybody thinks that it's a genetic problem. There are no genetic diseases. That's already been proven. It's the biggest lie. I already told you everything's a lie. It's epigenetic. If you don't want to change your belief systems, and Jeffrey, watch out. Watch out for all of the things that they're doing against us that you talk about. Try to get rid of that. Try to mind your own business. Loving Jeffrey, not focusing on these psychos that are selling us by the pound. Try not to even talk about them. The best thing you can ever do, Jeffrey, is to become the light and become the energy, and just allow people to feel your light and energy, and don't talk about the things that are wrong in the world. Because guess what? Here's the biggest joke of all. If we all focused on loving and caring for ourselves and minding our own business, they would be out of business. What do you think, Jeffrey?
Appreciate your time, and we will be going into the protocol.
Okay, God bless. God bless, my friend. Okay? Be well. And everyone else out there, just have the best day of your life. And guess what? If you want to do that, then you need to connect to your breathing. It's called Lionheart breathing. 6 seconds in, 7 seconds out. Okay? Wearing a slight smile on your face, that's your greatest protection. Shoulders back, chin up, and focusing on your dreams and your passion and your purpose. Okay? All right? That's the deal. Get yourself a hairband or get some of my love bands. Braveheart Nation, 3, 2, 1, we got this. This is me giving myself a kiss. This is as snug as a hug because I need to protect myself. This is me snapping back to the present moment, which is the only place you can heal, the only place you can love, okay? The only place you can stay out of fear, okay? Then let's learn from the past. Let's have no more regrets. Let's get rid of sinner's syndrome. Let's get rid of the guilt of everything that everybody told us we did wrong, because you're not a loser. I don't lose anymore. I learn, okay? I don't judge. I observe. Okay, and every day I try to change myself on an emotional and physical level by 1%, so that every 100 days I'm working on a new me to set me free. A pain-free life is what everyone can have. I'm telling you, my parents both died, or not died, they passed on of stage 4 inflammation. They call it cancer, and understand, and they passed on before they were 55. And my parents both suffered their whole life because of religious beliefs and because of government beliefs and just being unworthy, okay? And they tried their very best for me. They did everything in their power for me, but guess what? Your tools are only going to be as sharp as the beliefs you have, and they better be steeped in unconditional love and care for you. I am Braveheart, I am healed, and I am loved. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I close my eyes, I will protect, respect, honor, and love myself more than anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I can. I am healed. I am loved. I am Braveheart. Have the best day of your life.